So many of you who've been to concerts in the past have heard me complain about the fact that at the end of the year I talk about the seniors. And 9 years ago I started this by writing some things on a napkin. And then I've complained and felt bad for myself for having to do this for many years. And so this year, because I have a huge amount of seniors, they relax and enjoy your seats, I had to find a new way to think about it, and I started realizing what a great gift to take a few minutes to think about each one of these incredible individuals. There's no way that I can possibly say all the things that should be said about each one of them in such a short amount of time, but it was quite lovely when I changed my mind and realized that as I drove around town and thought good things about all of them, what a wonderful thing to do actually for all people in our lives. So if my husband's here, I'm working on it. Maybe that. So see now, and then they do nice things, and so I start crying before I even start. Can I say it first? So there are 3 seniors in this incredible group of treble ensemble women up here. First one, Caitlin. I'm so inspired by you doing something brand new like joining choir as a senior. It's an example to all of us that you should always be open and willing to expand your horizons and go for something even when it puts you out of your comfort zone. You are quite possibly the most well-put-together person with your incredible clothing styles, and I think that you and I will have a fabulous time in Italy and the fashions that we'll see there. Thank you for being willing to do something new. I hope you continue to be open to the possibilities in your life. Miranda. Over the past 3 years in treble ensemble, you have sung all 4 different parts, sometimes a tenor part, played the flute, played the drums while singing, played the jingle bells, arranged 2 pieces for us, the one you just heard, and graced us with your opinions, strong ones at that. No doubt you have talent in music. You've been a leader in the class for a long time, and I so appreciate that you made time to do both choir and band full time. You are the epitome of what I push you all to be, strong women. I am excited to see what you dream up and perform as you further your studies in music. Keep writing for us. Madeline, when you decide to run for President of the United States, know that I will be the first person to sign up to knock on doors and campaign for you. I will attempt to be more like you as I grow up. I can't tell you how amazing it is that you walk into my room with an idea, and when I say, yeah, let's do that, you actually do that. The next day there's an email waiting for me with the contacts and how we're going to go about this latest endeavor. You do all of this with a no-nonsense approach and with kindness and thoughtfulness to others. You were in the first treble ensemble class, and you are the first member to be in treble ensemble all 4 years. Your wisdom often comes just when I need to hear it. One that I'll remember is when I was trying to decide how to set up the Peace Peace song in the gym, and you wisely said, the 6th graders have to be in the back, Miss Hart. It's about the moment when you turn. And you were right. And when I was concerned about talking about all of the seniors and the concert being too long for the audience, you said, but the concert's not really about them, Miss Hart. Mr. Shaw and I figured out Madeline Cummings for President 2032. So here we go again. There's only 18 more to go, so I hope you're nice and warm like I am. I'll wait till they rearrange. First of all, with this, if you were here last year, remember that last year's seniors wrote me lots of mushy, beautiful notes. From your class, what I have is a broken coffee cup that you all signed your names to. So that's what you've left me. Thank you. Kyle, although you have only been in choir for 1 year, it feels like you have always been here. In fact, I worry what it would be like without you. I heard rumors over the years that you were a good singer. I nodded and smiled. But to my delight, it was true, and when you came in for your audition, I knew that you were going to be a great addition to the choir. My favorite quote from you was when you said, I had no idea how much I would love singing. In fact, I think it's something I should have been doing all along. So remember that while you sing, there's very little chance of shoulder or knee injuries like there are in soccer and basketball. However, your skills as a leader on the field and on the court translate to your leadership in the choir. Thank you for lending us your talents, even for just 1 year. Julia. As my advisee, I always called you Julia, and I still want to. One of my fond memories of you as my advisee was that we were all supposed to eat lunch together for the whole first week. You firmly told me that you would not be able to because there was someone from your school you had to sit with to make sure they were okay, because they didn't know very many people here at Bosque. Last year, having you in Trouble Ensemble was so much fun. Although I always knew you and often visited with you around school, it was great to see you work at your own singing and the way you supported others in class. You have such a kind heart, and your desire to help and to do great things in the world for your own family and for others is an inspiration. Larkin. I recall when you joined Trouble Ensemble as a sophomore. You started a little ways into the year, and I couldn't quite tell what you thought of it. You often gave me a rather suspicious look as I made you sing Sirens or B.A. Bay warm-ups. Soon, however, you became a very enthusiastic member of the group. In fact, you became very enthusiastic and vocal and would often let out excited whoops or add a little dance to a piece of music. As a junior or senior, you became a bit more reserved, but still someone who was confident and brave. Your stand against cancer when you were in middle school was something that moved us all. I hope that you will always know what amazing talents you have and what wonderful things you are capable of. Warren. Just this morning in class, I was reminded that rarely a day goes by that you aren't eating something while you walk into class, during class, after class, and sometimes all three. When you auditioned for Cantate, your friend stood outside the door, and as soon as you finished, they yelled, "Did Warren make it?" You did. You jumped right in and auditioned for Allstate your first year. The sight singing was a bit more difficult than you were ready for without the middle school years of prep, and when you came out of your audition, I asked, "How did it go?" You nonchalantly said, "Yeah, I didn't do it." That was a first for me. But since that time, you have gained confidence and found your voice, as you proved in the fall concert with your crooning of Billy Joel. Your charming grin and willingness to try new sports are things I've appreciated in your time here at Bosque. Mika. You are so brave. Although it may seem like a small thing, it was incredible to watch you make a bold move and change something so very recognizable about you. I loved whispering with you about our travels across the country to see Taylor Swift, trying not to let anyone else hear. I appreciate the fact that you are so unassuming about all of your accomplishments. You quietly and calmly go about what you do, and you do it well. You continue to work hard in choir, even when it didn't go exactly the way you had planned, and never once complained. You are someone to count on to be there, and to do what needs to be done. Liv. It's been such a joy to watch you grow up and become such a smart and wonderful, lovely young woman. I remember you coming in and saying to me, "I know I can do this, Ms. Hart, I just need another chance." You were right. You can do this, and so many other things so well. One of my favorite things I remember about you is a moment when you saw that there were some new people in choir who were a little bit afraid and overwhelmed by the experience of coming into the big choir with so many upper schoolers. You sweetly walked over and said, "This is Cantate. You don't have to be by yourself. We don't do that here. We are all together." And so, you have brought us all closer together, and I thank you. Maddie G. With 3 Maddies in class, you became Maddie G. You're another one who often looked at me with suspicion when you came into choir as a 7th grader. Fish and chips? Such nonsense. But I got you hooked with Japanese Snow Song, which you've asked to sing every single year since the 7th grade. You continue to improve and push yourself in choir over the years. As a teacher, you hope that your students learn and do a fraction of what you teach. You are someone who soaks up everything with a curious and interested mind. You made such incredible progress as a singer. When you stood up to sing at morning meeting, I was so proud and nervous for you, I could hardly breathe. Whether it's from your training in swimming and water polo or just your innate nature, you work one step at a time at improving and improving, and you can take over the world. Derek. Thankfully, I'm blonde, so gray hairs don't show up very much. There were several occasions I may have gained some where a few phone calls were frantically happening to find you for a performance. I recall one conversation, you asking, "Do I really need to be at graduation?" Well, since you have a solo and are supposed to be playing with the strings, yes. And somehow, you always manage to show up just in the nick of time, sing and play your heart out, and deliver an incredible performance. I still have an image in my mind of you with dyed blonde hair, playing the part of Friedrich in Sound of Music, and somehow that made you look even scarier and more intense on the soccer field. Anything you do, you tackle with gusto. You've been in such an integral part of Musical Mondays, spaghetti and serenades, singing, playing guitar, drums, bass, putting together duos, barbershop projects, or my favorite, the senior boys singing something from Lion King. You have helped the choral program grow and made singing tenor the cool thing to do. E. When you were in the musical in middle school, I thought, who is this voice and why isn't she in my choir? You also shined in drama and have often been able to put your talents together for our musicals. You are exquisite on stage. I loved your entrance as Mabel, and I often expect you to come into choir singing your name just like that. I kind of love to hear it right now. It was fun singing with you for Nutcracker performances in the Pit of Popejoy, and I love your big laugh and your great stories during our all-state dinners. I know that you've gone back and forth as to whether or not a career in music is for you. It's interesting, for those of us in music, it often chooses us, and we find we cannot live without it. And so for you, even though you weren't sure, music chose you. By the way, I would take front row seats when you're singing at the Met. Maddie Cope. I was so sad when you left choir as a freshman. I knew that you had great potential and I wanted to hang on to you. But as life goes, sometimes people need a little break. You returned and worked hard and worked your way up. It has been wonderful to see you share more of yourself in the past couple of years and to watch you shine. I often see you support your friends, encouraging and cheering them on, and the same with your family. I watched you play basketball in difficult circumstances and do it with your same hard work and never give up attitude. Remember that you too have a voice to be heard, and although it doesn't have to be loud, it is an important one. Virginia. I remember one day when you were in 8th grade and I said something about someone not liking me or something I had done, very professional on my part. You calmly stood up and said, well, who could ever not love the beautiful and wonderful Ms. Hart, with such authority that everyone felt the need to agree with you? One of the incredible things I've seen you do over and over again is to speak so very elegantly on any number of topics, whether in English or in Spanish. You sound so beautiful, and you maintain your composure and are able to stand up for yourself and get your point across in a way that's kind and thoughtful, but you still hold your own. Eres bellísima y maravillosa. I will miss your strange ability to hiccup at the quietest moments. Joseph, when you auditioned for Guitate your sophomore year, I don't know what I was more excited about, that you could sing and match pitch, or that your enthusiasm and excitement for what it would be to add to the class. As it turns out, both have been equally important. You grew so much as a singer, and when you sang the Modern General and Pirates, my face hurt from smiling about your singing as your character. Your enthusiasm showed the most when you came to hear your friends sing at the All-State Choir concert. I will try to do this justice, but I can't even really come close. You came running out of Popejoy straight at your friends and said, "Oh my God, it was so good, I almost threw up." Truly, it is the most excited I've ever seen anyone for a choir concert, and that's saying something. But you also show us your tenderness as the tears slowly stream down your face as you listen to your friends sing. Emily, I can't count the number of times I remember you walking around in my classroom on your tiptoes. And no shoes. I remember Hansi calling you Ginger way back in the 6th grade, and so forever it has been stuck in my mind that you are Ginger Roberts. I so admire your ability to stick with something even when it doesn't turn out the way you exactly want it to. You have incredible stage presence, and watching you dance with such amazing confidence and joy was one of the many highlights of getting to know you. I won't forget our conversations about life and getting our nails done, and know that I will always be on your side. Caitlin, although you spent 6th grade in band for your performing art, I can hardly remember that. It seems that you've always been in choir. You've taken our Triumph Music Honor Society to a new level. You've done incredible things for so many other music programs in Albuquerque because of your good work. On top of that, you make the strongest piñata I've ever seen. And you are a caretaker of many. That often includes me and my children. You come into my classroom often to ask if I need help, and whatever needs to be done, you jump in and do it. I love that you're pursuing a double major in engineering and music. You can combine your passions and show the world what is possible with true art and science. Terry, one of my favorite things about you is when you come into my classroom and sing with whatever class is in there on warm-ups or helping out with a sectional. You come in, look through music, play on the piano. Sometimes there's tears and tea. You love to reminisce, and you have such a great memory about all the funny and silly moments in choir. As a sixth grader, you were so excited to come into choir every single day. You weren't that excited that your classmates were not quite as excited as you were. You spent a decent amount of time shushing them all and keeping them in line. Your confidence as you took the stage in this year's musical was a perfect culmination to your many years of devotion and hard work to Bosque's music. Ramon. I will never forget when you were in sixth grade and you all were doing your composer projects. I heard this little voice humming along perfectly to Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. It was beautiful tone, matching exactly with the violins. I was looking around the room trying to figure out who was singing. Finally, I looked at you and said, "Who's singing?" Your face broke into that huge Ramon grin, and you said, "Me!" I will miss seeing you dance in the back row to our warm-ups, hearing your own techno beat somewhere in there. I think back with happiness to you as a ninth grader, talking about singing Haydn's Mass in Time of War, an extremely complex mass with several movements that we in the music world would talk about only as movements. As we walked along Times Square, you said, "I love all the songs we're singing." Your joy and enthusiasm is something I look forward to every day in choir. Muchísimas gracias por no me ríes cuando trato de hablar español y que me ayudes cuando lo trato. Laura, I'm so glad that you were willing to switch from drama to choir after the first day of performing arts in sixth grade. Nina thanks you too. I think she was the one crying that she had to be a choir, so the switch worked out really perfect. To be totally honest, I thought you were wonderful in sixth grade, but I'm not sure I could have predicted or imagined the amazing things you would do as a performer and a singer. In seventh grade, I started to notice some real talent emerging. I think what really did it for you was when we studied operas in eighth grade. I can't remember if your group used the Barbies or the marionettes to act out your plot, but I do remember you saying, "I love the opera Carmen, and someday I'm going to sing that." I had a flashback to that moment when I watched you shine and perform as the Santa Fe Opera Young Voices. You are not singing Carmen yet, but when you do, I would like to be there the first time. Although you're not my daughter, as some people thought when you were a sixth grader, I was moved to tears just the same as a parent as I watched you perform with such poise and confidence. Miles, you made it. I don't think I've ever seen you coming to the choir room complaining about how busy you are or how tired you are. Even if you were, as soon as it was time, you had your music out, ready to be singing, and giving 100% as you do in everything. Soccer, golf, basketball, envirothon, track, advanced everything classes, and anything else you set your mind to. I don't know that you realize what an inspiration that is to so many people around you. I've enjoyed our very early morning runs while on choir trips, and even more that as we would come running back to the hotel, you would help stage a race to make it look like I had won and you couldn't keep up with me, even though you had just run circles around me and everyone else was crazy enough to get up so early to join us. I also appreciate that you were confident enough to share the story that when you came to Bosque in sixth grade, you said, "I was so nervous and scared." And then I met you and you said you were my advisor and you smiled, and right then, I knew everything was going to be all right. Miles, as you said, 7 years is a lot of music with you, Miss Hart. You were right. In fact, it would be more than 60 pieces of music, about the same amount of performances, 8,000 or more miles traveled. Yes, seniors, it has been a journey, and it has been a great one. Thank you.
She's one of those teachers who's really more than a teacher. She's also a mentor and a friend to all of us, and more than anything, she really instills, which is important for a choir teacher, a love of music in all of us, and she certainly has in me, because I don't think I'd be doing what I'm doing today without her. And so we love her so much. And